I'm sure many of us thought that we would have been having a really good time by now. But anyway, hello everybody. Today is Saturday, May 23rd, 2020. Welcome to our Contract Trust Conference call. We're not accountants, tax professionals, lawyers, or currency dealers. We're not engaged in rendering legal, tax, accounting, or other professional advice. Should you require those services, you should retain competent advice from a professional in that field. And thanks for joining us today. If most of you know, my name is Carol Werelius, and my associate Jim Knox and I have these calls every second and fourth Saturday of the month. These calls are all recorded and available on our website, www.indicatorinformation.com, iqds.com, and YouTube. We would like to take this opportunity to review our common law contract trusts and why we think it's the best vehicle for you to protect your assets. As always, your questions are welcome. Just press *6 to raise your hand. First of all, a little housekeeping. As most of you are aware, we have a spectacular members-only website. Thank you to Jim for that. We realize these signed passwords are very long, but we need to keep them that way to reduce hackers. We strongly encourage the use of RoboForm or other password manager to remember the password for you. And Jim, I know you have a few things to add here.
Oh boy, do I. Well, we've been under attack for the last 16, 17 hours from a foreign country. And I'm trying to log in the computer right now to see what there's been no damage, folks, but no damage. Nobody's hacked us. Doesn't mean they're not trying, but it seems like lately there's been a lot more. I guess it's the hackers are, due to COVID-19, no matter where they're at in the world, they're all locked down. They got nothing to do but try and break into sites and just make everybody else's lives miserable. But fortunately, we have some very strong encryption built into the system, and it's working very, very well. And again, that's why we have such long passwords. So I'm going in here right now, and I'm looking, just a second here, it's coming up right now. See what we've got going on. Just kind of give you a little insight at what we go through every day. 1,610 attempts since midnight to break into our website.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, it's getting a little crazy out there. People have way too much time on their hands. So I'm looking at the firewall stats, and right now we've had, in the last 24 hours, the software we use called WordFence, they've had over 7 million attacks, and it's actually, take that back, it's 8.4 million attacks. And we've had, let's see, adding up the numbers in my head real fast, approximately 600 attacks. So we're under a hit right now. And it's not uncommon. We see this occasionally, but it's been a little bit disconcerting when I see that I have 81 attacks in the Russian Federation in the last 30 minutes. So that's why. Anyway, so now you've heard a lie, what I have to put up with every day. I look at these stats every day. We've had to blacklist 534 attackers, and we have what they call a complex blacklist, which has now grown to 1,052 so far in the month of May. Now, these are individuals that just keep hacking and banging on the door trying to break in, and our system, and sometimes I physically will go in and I'll block them, and so they can't come anywhere near our site. So we've been having this for quite some time now, and it just kind of goes to show you that we're pretty good at what we do at keeping you guys secure. Now, as you know, we've been hacked 3 times, and that's why we changed the security protocols this last time. We got really strict with it. And I was being too nice of a guy and allowing people to have these, password 1, 2, 3, 4 passwords, which is really stupid, but they do it. So I implemented a security protocol where even I cannot see your passwords once you have your password. And that's because if I could see it, if they get in, they could see it. So I've set it up to where I can't even see it. So if you can't get into the website, you have to get hold of us. I have to physically go in there and reassign a password, and that takes time. So what I'm going to be implementing here shortly, since I'm going to be doing some traveling, is I'm going to put a form on the website that'll be open to the public, because if you can't get in, you can't get inside to tell me you can't get in, right? So it'll be out there where you can find it, and it'll be a form, and you will fill it out, and it'll go into the website. It'll notify me by either text or email that somebody's having some issues. So in there, you're going to have to tell me your username and your email address, because both of those are how I get in, so I can find you. And, of course, I need your name, which you'll have on there. But that's all the information you have to give me. And then I will go in and reset it and then email you the new password. I'm trying to cut back on everybody calling me. I think I had 6 calls this week. I can't get in. Why? Why can't you get in? I can't remember my password. Then why are you trying to remember your password? Use RoboForm. Use some type of program. Because it's going to get to a point here, folks, once we all get our blessing, shall we call it, I'm going to hand this part off to somebody else. And they're going to charge you for it. Because they got to make money. So for a while, I'll do it. But in about 2-3 months, it's going to cost you probably $50, because we have to pay these people to do this. Because I don't plan on sticking around in front of a website or a computer screen after our blessing arrives. So that being said, the next best thing to tell you is we've also added some more content. We're working on getting a better system for the minutes so they're easier to download. I'm working on a couple kind of like videos and put them on here about how to do certain things. And that's something Carol and I will figure out how to do, or what the content should be. So we're going to expand this website a lot more. And it's going to be the premier website out there for information about this kind of a product. Carol, I think that's about all I can say about it right now.
Okay, thanks, Jim. I think you get your point across.
Yeah.
Well, also, speaking of websites, we now accept applications only from our website, www.3iTrustApp.com. We have found this method to be much more accurate for entering your data into our system. For those of you who only have the abstract of trust, which you probably purchased years ago, you will have to re-enter your application information at 3iTrustApp.com/private-application. If you have any problems with that, just give me a call and I'll walk you through it. You know, Jim and I have been very open about the fact that we will be taking some time off immediately post this event. We do have trained staff that will complete your trust, but they will not be available to answer your questions. We will endeavor to answer all of your emails as time permits. So if you find you're getting an email from somebody at Indicator Information and it's not Jim and it's not me, do not ask them your questions, because they won't be able to answer. You know, they'll be able to make sure you have your correct address and that kind of stuff, but they will not be able to answer some of the questions that some of you come up with. So, right now, most of us are wondering when this thing is going to happen. For many of us, it's been a long, long wait. We've been hearing recently the end of this month. I heard half an hour ago. It might not be till the end of June. So we'll see, And many of you have asked about getting the Wells Fargo emails. Many years ago, there were some groups put together who were promised higher rates than the screen rate. At first, it was known as General 64/Studley, which has since been absorbed by Wells Fargo. So now it is known as the Wells Fargo Group, and I'm sure there may be others. You cannot join a group now. I am also surmising that currency dealers turned over their customer databases to Wells Fargo in an effort to reach as many people as possible. Do not call Wells Fargo. Those on the retail side of the bank will have no knowledge of this. We are all awaiting 800 numbers or some notification that it's a go. While we will not post any 800 numbers on our website, we will advise you of the fact that they are out and share with you some websites that will be posting those numbers. I believe that most of us have read that we will be required to sign an NDA upon our exchange or redemption. From what I have read, we cannot say RV, exchange, redemption, dinar, dong, etc. for 90 to 180 days. We cannot say anything regarding this event. For that reason, Jim and I will avoid or try to avoid mentioning these terms in our calls anymore by simply referring to this as the event or as blessing, as Jim mentioned. So now the housekeeping is out of the way, we can talk about asset protection, but before that, we've got a couple hands raised, Jim.
Go for it.
Good morning, Bob. What can we do for you?
Oh, good morning, Carol and Jim. Can you hear me all right?
Can you move away from the telephone a little bit? You're very muffled.
Okay. All right, how's that?
That's a lot better. Thank you.
Okay. Question is for Jim. One of the little tricks that you had mentioned on a previous call, and it was several weeks ago, and it's hard to go back and look for one particular thing. But when you sign your checks, you had mentioned that whether you're president or CEO or treasurer or trustee, you always sign your name and then comma, as is something or other.
No.
And I can't remember what that little phrase.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're going to sign your name, you're going to put a comma and say trustee and not as otherwise. That limits them to just working with you as trustee. They can't come after you personally because you put that limiter on there, trustee and not as otherwise.
Okay, and I thought you had mentioned, on some of your trusts you're like a president and others you're a manager or something like that. And so this covers all that.
Okay, no, let me interrupt. Okay, you have the ability, because if you read your indenture, folks, it's only 12 pages long. And let's do a little side step here, and then we'll come back to your question. If you read that indenture 3 or 4 times, just read it. Sit around with a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and read it. You will be highly educated. There is so much in just the indenture. That's just the trust, folks, that we call indenture. That's the contract. If you just read it, it's an education itself. Now, in there, it says that you can have a president, a secretary, a treasurer, and I'll add that you can have a vice president, 1 or 2 or 3. So I have, from time to time, have told people, because I have that in my trust, that I am the president of the company. I'm the trustee of the company, but they don't know what a trustee is. So I tell them, hey, I'm the president of the company. Here's the company name. No questions. But if you say, well, I'm the trustee of that, well, a trustee, what is that? I mean, is that something that I need to know more about? No. You don't want to tell me more than that. So I've allowed myself to have that title. Does that kind of help?
Yes. Yeah, very much.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else on that?
Thank you very much.
All
No,
right.
that's it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Now we have a question from Jay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys? Just a quick question. I think it's a quick question. So you have a real estate trust and you sell the house. I assume the money goes back to that trust. And what if you don't want to buy? What if you don't want to buy another house? How would you get to that money then? There must be a way, but
Jim, you want to take that one?
Well, there's a couple ways to do it. First off, remember, you don't have to sell the house out of the trust. You can actually market the trust and then use the money. That's kind of an advanced technique that we've done a few times. If you get the money in the trust, you sell the house out of the trust, you got the money in the trust, you can have that trust create another trust. It can be the creator of another trust that you're going to use, and then you transfer the money over to that. That's now the new, and you use the certificates of beneficial interest for doing all that. Now, that's something that we've explained a little bit on the website. It's something we're going to actually build a little video on. That's one of the first things we want to do, to show you how to manipulate or move. Manipulate is probably not a good word. How to move the money around, doing it legally and logistically in your favor. And I should have that done in the next few days. Now, this is not going to be a talking head type video. It's going to be a video that's going to be put on there. It's just going to be slides, probably no voice, but slides, and an explanation on every slide, and it just kind of shows you how to do the whole thing.
Yeah, I would think that would be great because it's representative of a lot of, I think those two things, how to move money and how to do the loan, those are the two things I think that, the movement are really those two things, I guess.
All right. Well, I made a note here, and I will get after that. Carol and I will talk about how to put that together. And then I've got the ability to build it. Well, there's a video on our site. I built that. And, I can build all those little videos like that. So I've got my notepad out here for things to do next. That's the top of the list.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jay. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Now, let's get that onto our program. We're all anxious for this event to unfold. The question becomes, are you ready? Have you thought about asset protection? Have you thought about taking care of future generations? Have you thought about who's going to help you or possibly hinder you in this new endeavor? These are all very valid and very important questions to ask yourself. You need to be prepared, not only with your paperwork, but the plans you have going forward. We can assist you with asset protection, with future generations and management options, all with the use of our common law contract trust. So, the question again is, so what is a contract trust? A common law contract trust is not really a trust at all, but a contract in trust format. It is a unique agency of commerce that offers numerous advantages in the areas of estate preservation and asset protection. Though you may be wondering, is common law still valid? Common law is a system of law which is based on judges' decisions and on custom rather than written laws. Judging by what I'm reading, we will soon be returning to common law as the law of the land with the institution of Nasera. While some attorneys may try to convince you otherwise, common law is still very valid. The basis for the term common law trust in this instance is not that the organizations are creatures of common law, but they created under the common law of contracts and do not depend upon any statute. They derive no power, benefit, or privilege from any statute. All the various states in this country, with the exception of Louisiana, have founded their systems on the common law of England and have adopted its rules of stare decisis, under which unwritten law is made through case decision. We are guaranteed the right to contract from our Constitution. Since the contract trust springs from contract, common law, there is an inalienable right to use them freely. So there are several advantages to using the contract trust. The contract trust owns and controls its assets through its trustees, who keep controlling minutes of their actions. And you get to be trustee. The way this particular contract is written, you get to be the trustee. So you are in total control of the trust and its assets. There is no one between you and your money, which is very important when you think about what our future is hopefully going to hold soon. A person can transfer all of his or her properties, real or personal, to a contract trust, providing exceptional asset protection. Such property is thereby protected from personal liabilities, probate, and death taxes. A person can name successor trustees to carry on the management of the trust upon the original trustee's death or incapacity. Many of our clients, as long as Jim and I have been in this business, you name your adult children, if you have them, as successor trustees. That way you are already taking care of future generations. Our website offers pages and pages of guides, suggestions, and sample minutes for your needs. The contract trusts that we prepare are irrevocable. Setting up your contract trust pre-event guarantees your privacy and anonymity and shows the bank you're prepared for asset protection. And I will add one thing there in a moment. We just talked about addresses. This lady lives in Texas. Even though you may live in a state that does not have any state tax, I always suggest you get a mailbox other than your home. again, to protect your anonymity and your privacy. So, setting up your contract trust, okay, I just said that. As far as skeleton or temporary trust, they are revocable, and unfortunately, the bank becomes your partner. Which is not good. I mean, we've all heard horror stories about banks, and so we're not going to go there. We don't have to go there. Our trusts are often called Massachusetts business trusts. In the early part of the last century, in certain states, specifically Massachusetts, it was illegal for a corporation to own real estate in its own name. This created a basic liability problem for individuals. Businessmen looked for an agency of commerce that would give the advantages of corporations without the inherent disadvantages to solve the liability problem. They looked into English common law and found what they were looking for in Smith v. Anderson. The Smith decision established the validity and viability of these entities in English common law beginning in 1880. The Smith decision has never been reversed. Often people ask, well, how many people do I need? Who's going to be in this trust? The participants of the contract trust are the creator, investor, exchanger, trustees, and holders of certificates of beneficial interest. The creator, a natural person, separate natural person from the investor exchanger, initially represents the contract trust and bargains with the investor exchanger to exchange $21 and 100 trust certificate units from the investor exchanger's property. That is how your asset becomes part of the trust. There are 4 ways to transfer property: gift, sale, assignment, or exchange. The contract trust uses the exchange method, and it's not a taxable event. The creator then appoints the first trustee, either himself or another of his choosing. That person could be the initial or the original investor exchanger, which would be you. Once the first trustee is appointed, the creator exits the contract trust. If some people ask, well, what is, you said business trust, what is that about? The business of your trust is estate planning. That's all it is. You don't have to have a business, you don't have to have anything special, but this is estate planning. And the issuance of certificates has been a stumbling block for some, and it needn't be. The certificate represents the exchange between the creator and the investor exchanger. The initial investment of money or property by the exchanger is a fixed, irrevocable investment. The certificates are the personal property of the record owner alone, without reservation of any community property interest. Ownership does not entitle the certificate holders to any legal or equitable title in or to the trust organization's properties or assets, but shall only entitle the record owners of the trust units to the proportionate shares of distributions. And I know it's kind of wordy, especially for me, but that came directly out of the trust. Unlike a corporation, no certificate holder shall have any right to manage or control the destiny, property, affairs, or business of the trust organization or the trustees. The certificate becomes null and void upon the death of the holder. It is the responsibility of the remaining or successor trustees to issue new certificates. You will receive 2 trust certificates with your trust. They are to be signed by the creator. We also provide a blank certificate on plain paper. You can use this to create new certificates as they are needed, such as when the original holder dies. And a quick little interjection here, I think this is the right place for it. I got an email this morning. In the event of my death, I have appointed my trust beneficiary as a successor trustee. Is this correct to continue in operation after my passing, or the new successor trustee to have named a new beneficiary? Well, first of all, we don't have beneficiaries. Revocable trusts name beneficiaries for when the original trustee or grantor dies, that the beneficiaries then get whatever in the trust. Ours is an irrevocable trust, and it doesn't die. This trust does not die, as you do. The trust lives on. Therefore, it's got a life of 25 years and can be extended forever. So there are no trust beneficiaries. They're trust certificate holders, and the certificate holders are, I'd say 99.9% initially, the original investor exchanger. So his question about continue the operation, should be to the new successor trustee or name a new beneficiary. There is no beneficiary. So your successor trustee will automatically take over. And I hope you're listening, but if not, I will send you the email anyway. Now back. We provide legal backup supporting the contract business trust on our website. As part of your trust packet, you will receive access to our members-only website, which includes American Jurisprudence, 2nd Volume, 13, as well as explanations of the contract, trust, and operating instructions. Should you choose to look it up, look in the B as in business section, not in the T as in Tom section of the law library. This might be a good time for some more questions, Jim. Hang on a second here. Dr. John, how are you today?
Hi, Carol. It's John Krell here. How are you doing?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great. Can't complain at all. I had 2 quick questions. Just part of it, I heard the answer. In order to say when we established the trust, if we didn't put our house, we just put our currencies or something in there, how do we then transfer our house or anything else into that? Is that on the website, or can you quickly review how that's done? That's the first question. Okay.
The assets that you put into your trust initially should be the only thing that is in that motherlode trust.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So when you decide you want to pay off your house, or if your house is already paid off, put it in a trust, you need to put it in a separate trust.
Okay.
You don't want to mix anything with the motherlode trust, especially anything that has potential liability. So a second trust would be the way to go with it.
Okay. And then let's see. The signature when you were writing down trustee and not as otherwise, do you actually print that on the check, or is that how you sign it?
That's how we sign it. I mean, I've always been able to have the bank print something on the top. Oh, acting strictly as an individual. Oh, no, that I do have that. Excuse me. It's printed just above the signature line. Yeah. They can't print it below.
Okay. Okay, so you can actually put that trustee and not as otherwise above the signature line, eh?
Jim, would you agree with that? Or not?
Yeah, you can. I use software, and I print out checks occasionally, and I have that on my signature line. I have my name, and then comma, trustee not otherwise, and then I sign it.
Yeah.
Above that. So you can do it both ways.
All right. Great. Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Anybody else have a question out there? No? Not so far.
I do. I have a question.
Okay.
When is this going to happen?
Yeah, really. Like I said, I just heard a little while ago that it might not happen until the end of June, but
yeah, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, that person's never been right either.
I don't want to buy that.
I agree. I totally agree.
Right.
Well, in that little bit of time, we have 3 more questions. So let's start here.
Bring them on.
Hey, Dean, how's it going today?
Fine. How are you, Carol and Jim?
Oh, we're doing okay.
Great. On this, were you not as otherwise, is that always on put that on every check that you write as a trustee?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I was unaware of that.
Well, it's actually on our on our website a couple of places. I'll make something. I'll make it a little more obvious on the website. I'll make a note here to do that, Dean. I appreciate that. I'll get a link in there so they can see how to sign documents. That's what I'll call it.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Carol.
You bet. All right, Dean.
Okay. Leslie, haven't talked to you in a while. Leslie?
Evidently she doesn't want to talk to you then.
I guess. Telephone number 4647.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute.
That's okay. Morning.
And yes, I do want to talk to you. I have a question. As you were saying, and not as otherwise, how do you handle online transactions or using a debit card? Would you add something to a receipt or something, or how do you protect yourself?
You can't do it online on that. That's kind of a bugaboo that we all have to live with. We're more worried about using that when you're doing something like buying the real estate or you're doing something large scale. You would want to make sure you use that limiter on that kind of stuff. When you're doing things online, I just use my debit card. And I do have a trust and I have a debit card, and I just do it. But there's nothing of any significance there. You know, the biggest thing is, remember, you are brought into many, many contracts you're not aware of, especially out when you're doing business. So that's when you want to make sure you put that on there. If you go sign up for something using the trust, like I have some of my stuff through a trust, like my internet, stuff like that. When I signed the contract for that, when I went into Comcast, I put that on there. It raised a couple of eyebrows. I just live with it. They do. So.
Okay.
All
right.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Leslie. You too. Okay, Ralph. There you are again.
Carol, if I'm in a senior living place where we are under the quarantine of not being able to go out, and should this happen, and I'm not able to go any place to do an exchange, what provision can be made for a situation like that?
This is a guess here. From what I've heard or read, if you cannot make it to your initial appointment, you can call and make an appointment and say, look, I'm under quarantine. I will not be released until such and such a date. And they supposedly have to accept that. Have you heard anything different from that, Jim?
No, I haven't. But there's a couple things that come to mind. Is are you the only trustee on your trust?
Yeah, I have successor trustees.
No, but you're the only trustee.
No, that's right.
Okay. Well, if you had another trustee, they could go do it for you because technically the currency should be owned by the trust, so a co-trustee can do that. You can make somebody a co-trustee temporarily and then revoke that after the fact if you can get somebody to go do the exchange that you trust.
Okay, so I would just do that. I would just do that by adding minutes to my trust, right?
Exactly. You just add a minute to the trust. Say at this time the trust has decided to make John Doe a trustee, and with all the powers thereof. And then John Doe goes and does the exchange, and then when that's all done, and then you would go in and supersede his signature on all the documents and remove him from the trust.
Yes. Okay, that's simple enough.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. We can do that for you.
I'm glad I asked that because I dare say there might be others listening that need that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Very good question. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I hadn't thought about it, so you bet.
It's nice to hear you, Jim. That's my first time hearing Jim.
It has been a while since you've been on the call. My goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad you can make it back. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. God bless.
Bye. God bless you, too. Good morning, Raul.
Hi, Carol. How are you doing?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I have a question about, I went into the website and I saw a sample check, a copy of a check. I think it was orange or light brown check color. And I have a question on the upper left-hand corner of the check. Do I put the management trust name on it? Not the Motherlode Trust, but the management trust, because I'll be generating.
In your case, yes. In your case, the management trust, yes.
Pardon me?
In your case, yes. The checks are going to be from the Motherlode Trust account, not from the management trust account. So that's where the checks will be.
And then I'll pay off anything that accumulates regarding interest or profits from the different trusts that I have, right? From the various trusts that I open up. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question about the man that says he's the only trustee, and if he's in quarantine, will he have time to make that adjustment as a co-trustee in order to go there? I heard that when it happens, it's going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, you can do that in a matter of just, you can handwrite the minutes. It doesn't have to be,
okay.
So remember, this is a contract. Go ahead.
So he would take that note, those minutes, to the exchange and say, look, I'm the co-trustee for this time, for this occasion.
Right. And in this case, you would probably want, since he's not in a place where he can probably get something notarized, you would need at least 2, preferably 3 witnesses that would witness that he signed that without being under duress.
Okay.
And that should stand up in any court of law.
Could his kids do that? His kids, grown-up kids, be his witnesses?
It's best that they're not, but they could. I mean, in a worst-case scenario, sure. And you could argue it out later if you had to.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully, what Carol said earlier about having to notify them that you're under quarantine might also be another option. I hope that that's still something that's a possibility as well. Because I don't know if I'm going to have time to get a co-trustee right away.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue if you don't have everything set up. In fact, that's a good time to make this comment. Folks, you need to get a backup system set up. You need to have somebody, at least in your mind, that you can call and say, hey, I need you to do this for me, and I trust you to do this right. Come over here. Let's get this document, and so you can go do something for me. It doesn't have to be just what we're, the gifting program, or this gift that we're talking about. It could be for anything. I mean, I have mine set up right now with 2 separate successors. And you remember, I don't know if you remember, but I lost my closest friend, which was my successor. He died from cancer over a year ago. So I have now his son, and then I have Carol. So,
Well, I guess my co-trustee could be my successor trustee too, couldn't he?
Well, then they would no longer be the successor.
But they could act temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay,
in an emergency.
Yeah, in an emergency, then after that, when it's done, get rid of that one, then he'll go back to being my successor trustee.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. Bye-bye.
You got it.
Bye. David, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Carol. This is David.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. You actually answered the question with the debit card, so I'm going to make it quick and easy and say thank you.
All right. Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Victor, you're up.
Yes, Carol. What's the best trust I can get for my grandchildren?
Are you
mean the style of trust?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
You mean the style of trust?
Yeah, the best one to get for my grandkids.
Okay, are they minors or are they?
Minors. They're still young.
Okay, you can set up a trust, and you have to have somebody be their, what's the word I want, Carol? Their
interim successor trustee.
That's what I wanted. Thanks. Yeah, the interim successor trustee would represent the children in that trust. And then as they become the right age, then that person is removed automatically. You have to write them in and say that this is the interim trustee until the age of such and such. Each child reaches such and such.
Okay, so I can make my son that then, right?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Yes, you can name your son as interim successor trustee, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And one last thing, by any chance, do you know if they'll be redeeming the $1 billion Zim notes? I mean, the Zim bond, I meant to say.
The 100 T note?
No, the billion notes. I know about the T notes, yeah.
They'll take all the currency.
Okay,
It doesn't matter what the denomination is in the Zim, they'll take it.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you, Victor.
All right. Bye-bye.
And we got one more. Vicki. There you go. You Thank you for patiently waiting.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Carol and Jim, for your help and the call. My trust goes back to 2011, which is, I think there's been a lot of changes since then when people buy these. So on mine, and I did change my cover sheet because it's definitely different. It read contract and declaration of trust from the formation of a non-guarantor and irrevocable to the contract trust organization. So is there anywhere inside the other parts that I need to change, or is it okay the way it is?
It's okay the way it is.
Is that a good question?
Yeah, it's a very valid question because a lot of people have trusts that were provided by Jim Jenkins.
Yes, this
before
is
I
one.
became involved, and our format's just a little different. That's all. But trusts are basically the same.
It's the same, so I don't have to go. Like I said, I changed the cover one, and also when my creator created this, there was nothing about $21. Does that?
It said $10. It said $10.
Oh, $10. Yes, and I do have that in there. The $10 bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm good there also.
Listen to Jim first.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's just like I have to cough. Excuse me. I'm living in the Northwest. I get allergies, and we had rain yesterday and sun today, and guess what? Boy, things are moving.
Well, you ought to be glad you don't live in north central Texas, because that's one of the worst allergy places in the country, and it's awful.
I'm glad you told me that. I'll make sure I don't visit.
Well, but it's a great place to live, so you have to put up with good and bad.
That's right. That's right. Okay, on this $21, here is the scenario. And I've done this for years, and it's because the Constitution of the United States for America, which is the Republic, says that any debt over $20 entitles you to a jury trial, which in essence is a common law trial. And that is where you get to sit down and plead your case directly to the jury, not to the judge, to the jury. They make the decision. The judge is just there as a custodian of the law. He can't affect the decision. So we wanted to make sure that when we went to court, if we ever got drug into court, we have the right to discuss this with the jury, not with a judge, because, you know how they can be. If you've ever been to court, you'll know what I mean by that. They're not bipartisan, trust me on this. And so that's why we do this, because you can force their hand on that. You can make them give you a jury trial. And so what we want to do with this trust, we want to be able to talk to the people, not the judge. And that's why I've implemented that in all my stuff years ago, and that's the difference. And you could amend your – actually, you can't in this case because the deal's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's why. From now on, always put $21 and other consideration on any contract that you ever sign.
Okay,
don't
so
do $10 and other consideration.
So there's no new Schedule B, like a thing that I could like replace this one with the $10 with the 21.
You're already in the middle of that contract. I don't know how you would be able to convince the legal system that you did this for that reason, because you already got into that contract.
Okay, so
you
any
could do
trust
it and try it. I mean, I'm saying you could do that, and if you ever had that issue, you could just not tell them you changed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Remember, this
is there
a private
a
contract? Go ahead.
Pardon?
I said this is a private contract. Nobody should know anything about this.
That's true. So do you have the template for that on the website?
No, not for that, because we just...
I could probably make one up.
Well, why don't you email either Carol or me, and we'll help you with it.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, and you don't think there's anything else in here that I should be concerned about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Carol's more has more knowledge about that trust than I do, so it would be hers.
Yeah, I think you're fine. I think you'll be fine.
Okay. Well, all right then. I really appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Vicki. Okay,
else?
Jay, you are next. Yeah, one more, Jay.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Yeah, as far as contents of the house, like furniture, electronics, etc., would that be something you can have under a trust? And would it be not taxable if you set it up that way? In other words, would you need a separate trust, or would it be in the real estate trust, or how would you see that? I assume it's the same for a boat, let's say, also. You know.
For me, now Carol may do this a little bit differently, but for me, I have all my personal stuff's in a private trust, personal property trust, and I've always have everything labeled. I think 2 phone calls ago we talked about this more, where I have everything I have in this office, for example, where I'm sitting right now, has got stickers on it, and they are inventory stickers, and they say that on them, and they have I handwrite a number with a marker, a Sharpie pen, and then I enter that into my inventory of my business trust, because this is owned by the business trust. Now, I'm talking about for my business.
Right.
Okay. And then for a home, my real estate trust, yes. I have certain things that stay with the house. Like if you sell the house, doesn't usually sometimes you sell the refrigerator and the range with it, the things that are built in. Well, that's part of that trust. And then the stuff in the house, the beds, the stereos, the TVs, that's on a separate personal property trust that I have. That's what I put in mine.
Yeah,
and I concur totally.
There you go.
Would the trust be able to pay for property taxes, insurance, maintenance, that sort of thing as well?
Sure. It's got to. I mean,
so
if a house or a boat, or can't put a plane in a trust, but a house or a boat or a car, that's part of the condition of having the trust. The trust has to be able to pay all that stuff. And one of the reasons why we started to really talk more about the management trust is because post RV, I'll just go ahead and use the word, you're going to have a lot of things. You're going to have cars, you're going to have houses, and you don't want 20 checking accounts, because everything has to be able to write a check to pay its bill. So that's why you have a management trust, and you have a contract for the management trust to the real estate trust, for the management trust to the automobile trust, for the management trust to the boat trust, to pay for all that. And it actually harbors the money for those trusts in its account. Think of it as an escrow company. It pays the bills. When you make a house payment, you probably know this, but I'm going to say it for everybody else. When you make a house payment, you're actually paying an escrow company. The escrow company then takes a portion of that payment for the insurance, a portion for the property tax, and then the balance usually goes to pay for the principal and the absorbent interest. So you think of your management company as doing the same thing on everything. So when I write a check or use my debit card for gasoline, stuff like this, out of that thing, or I paid a repair bill or something, I just make a notation that this money was taken for the automobile trust, was paid for the automobile trust by the management trust. It keeps everything simple, and then you only have to have one spreadsheet instead of 10 spreadsheets. And I hate spreadsheets.
Yeah,
that's why I created this system like this. I hate spreadsheets. Carol vouch for that. I hate them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so basically, yes, very much. So basically, the real key is how much to load the management trust up with, I suppose, because it load one thing still, right, with all the trusts, basically.
Well, yeah. What I'm going to do when this happens is I'm going to sit down and say, okay, this car is going to cost me X amount of dollars. The maintenance is going to cost me X amount of dollars. Insurance costs me X amount of dollars. And I'll say I'm going to have that car for 6 years, just grabbing a number. And then I just multiply all those numbers by 6. 6 years. So, and then 72 months, basically, for each one. So 72 months worth of payments. If you have payments, 72 months worth of insurance, and you just add that all up, and that's what that trust owns, and then you just drop that cash into the management trust for your automobile trust to pay all those bills.
I got you.
That's how I'm doing it.
take your best guess, basically. And,
Exactly.
You can, yeah. Okay. And I suppose if you run out of money, you just have to form a new management trust at some point. Is that?
There may be a way around that. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jay. We have one more. Tyson. Tyson, are you there? Please unmute yourself. *6.
Hello.
Are you there? There you go.
How can I relate
Hello?
to this call? Because I didn't hear the first part.
I'm sorry?
How can I replay this number? This call.
Hold on a sec. It's this. Hold on. I have to find it now.
It's going to be on iqdcalls.com.
Yeah. Okay. Here. Yeah, iqdcalls.com. But you can go back to free conference call at 712-775-7029 and use the PIN number 213-297-186 and press pound again and you should get today's call.
You repeat the pound number.
I just got rid of it.
Here, just a second here. Okay, so you're going to have 712-775-7029, and then the PIN is 213-297-186 pound, and then hit pound again. It should take the last one that we did, which would be this one.
That's 213-297-1986.
Correct.
Thank you.
186 and then pound twice. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, Jim, I'm going to leave this to you. It's about 8 minutes to the hour, and I've got several more questions to go through. You want to go through them, or you want to just do more Q&A? What do you want? What do you think?
Well, if they want to do more Q&A, it seems to be something we need to do right now. Out of good questions, there's I'm looking where we were at. I closed this to get that number, and not where I'm at.
We're in number. We are going to be starting with number 10.
All right. Let's go ahead and, if we don't have a question right now, let's go ahead and finish this up, this portion.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well, many people ask if they need more than one contract trust. And while you probably don't need additional contract trust at this point, you will most likely want to diversify post-event. We like to call this first contract trust your mother lode trust, and it should stay private and known only to you and your private bankers and wealth managers. This is, Jim just mentioned management trusts and stuff like that. Those are the ones you're going to want to open after you've received your blessing. So we suggest that you never purchase anything from this trust and never do online banking from this trust. Again, I'm talking about the mother lode. You won't even need checks or debit cards because you will have funded other trusts that will be doing that kind of public business. Once all the initial business of this event has settled down, you may wish to create additional contract trusts for specific needs. Do I need an EIN for each trust? That all depends on the purpose of the trust. If you anticipate doing any banking from a contract trust, then it needs its own EIN. We obtain the EIN on your behalf as part of our service. And now, typically, automobile trusts don't require EINs. Private property trusts don't require EINs. Real estate trusts may or may not. That's your choice. So let's see. Now we've made the exchange with the curator. Your assets are in the trust. Hopefully they are liquid assets by this time. But anyway, so how do you get money out of it? There are actually several different ways. The first way is to pay yourself a modest salary as trustee. It should be enough to cover your everyday needs, groceries, utilities, gasoline, medical bills, etc. The second way is to declare and pay a distribution to the trust certificate holders of the contract trust. You are more than likely a certificate holder. In either case, this money is taxable income to you. You probably want to take some of this money, this way and pay a minimal amount of tax. Of course, then again, we don't know what our taxes are going to be like soon. You could also borrow from the trust. A big question for many is, how do I pay off my house? Or how do I purchase new property? And there's a couple of ways to do this. You could borrow the money from the trust, essentially a new mortgage or refi that you control, or the trust could pay off and purchase the property itself. In either case scenario, you still are owning the property in your own name. This is not a good idea if you're trying to keep a low profile. A better option is to obtain a mortgage from the trust, secured with a promissory note, and put the house into a real estate trust. This will be optimal for large expenses that is not a taxable event. You can use the same method to purchase new vehicles, etc. Creating secondary contract trusts is another way to purchase big-ticket items without creating a loan or taxable event. And don't forget about tax-deductible expenses. What about vacations and golf and tennis club memberships? As a trustee, you're charged with managing and growing your trust. That means you probably want to investigate business opportunities and relationships, doesn't it? Most of those expenses are tax-deductible to the contract trust. Regardless of which method or combination of methods you choose, be sure to write minutes to support your actions. You must be diligent in keeping the contract trust legal and in compliance with federal, state, county, and city codes. We don't have any hands raised at this point, so I'll go on.
All right. Just a minute. Let me jump in here. I have a point I want to make.
Okay.
If you're going to be borrowing money from your trust, you need to pay principal and interest. The kicker here is you don't have to pay compound interest. Now, let me explain real quick so people can follow me. When you buy a house, standardly, in everyday world right now, you're going to pay whatever the compound interest rate was. It's low now, but it was higher. You actually pay almost 3 times what you borrow by the time you pay it off over 30 years because it's compounded interest. Let's use an example. If you bought a $100,000 house and you pay off at 10% interest, which is what it was a while back, you actually pay about $300,000 for that $100,000 house. If it would have been 10% interest, simple interest, you would pay back $110,000 over the 30-year term instead of $300,000. Keep that in mind. So when you do this, when you write a contract that you borrow for any reason from one trust to the other trust, use simple interest, unless you want to try and move money into the trust, and then you can use compound interest. Make sense?
Good point. Mm-hmm. Good point. There's so many things that you and I just know to do, and that's given us a lot of thought. But folks, that's one of the reasons we have a website. Jim has shared a lot of his plans and scenarios with you on the website, so take advantage of it. We have heard this event may not be taxable. Many of you would like to know how to take advantage of this one-time tax break. I think most of us have issues that we need to address post-RV. Whether it be outstanding debt, a new car, helping out friends, we don't want to pay taxes if we don't have to. So at the exchange, how about this scenario? And again, you guys, I'm guessing. I know no more about what's going to happen there than you do. Mr. Banker, I now have X million dollars. I would like you to put $100,000 into my personal account. Here's my account number and wiring instructions. I would like to take $9,500 in cash with me when I leave today, as well as a debit card attached to my personal account. I will need these wires to be sent, and here's a list of cashier's checks that I need. I will need a pass-through account for X amount of dollars. I would like to put the balance into an account at your bank for ABC Trust. Here's my paperwork. An abstract and EIN should be all that you need. Again, I'm not a CPA or tax planner. This is just my opinion of how we may be able to take advantage of this one-time tax break. It's obviously pretty simplified, but I'm sure you get the idea. Again, we've heard that there won't be any federal taxes on the revaluation of the asset. However, you may wish to be prudent and set up a secondary trust account to pay the taxes. If it's taxed, you're covered. If not, you have a sizable bonus. I have heard that because the ZIM may be classified as a bond, it may be taxable. Any interest earned will be taxable. If you live in a state that imposes state income, we recommend you domicile your trust in a state that does not. We typically suggest Wyoming or Washington. The actual exchange may not be a taxable event, but disbursements to the trustees are always taxable to the trustee. The amount paid to the trustee is deduction to the trust, so it is not double taxation. And we do have a couple callers here, so let's start with Paul.
Hi, Carol. It's Maisie. That letter that paragraph you just wrote about what to say to the banker, do you have that down on your site?
I don't know. Do we, Jim?
I think it is there, but I'd have to look. We have so much I can't keep track of this, but we'll make sure it's there. I'll make a note here on my to-do list. I'll put it on there.
Great. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And Veronica, we haven't heard from you for a while. Veronica, hit *6 to unmute yourself.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I want to know, how do you decide if you're going to need a trust with an EIN number or one that doesn't have an EIN number?
Well, like I mentioned, personal property trusts, car trusts do not need EIN numbers. A real estate trust, if you are planning on it being an income property, you probably want to have a real estate. You probably want to have an EIN so you have a bank account. If you're planning on putting your personal residence into a real estate trust, you don't need an EIN for that. The house does not need a banking account, so therefore you don't need an EIN.
I see. So that's okay. That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Bye. You too. Let's see, where are we? We've heard that we should have separate accounts for Dinar apart from other currencies. Does that mean another trust? The important word here is account. One contract trust can own several bank accounts, so the answer would be no. However, you can have additional trust if you feel you want to set it up that way. The trust can have as many bank accounts in as many banks and locations as you feel appropriate. Personally, my husband and I will have our mother-in-law trust accounts at several different banks, and I know you're planning on that as well, right, Jim?
Yep, I am.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. People have asked, people sometimes ask us, well, you're going to write minutes for us for next year, or whatever we do something, we have to keep calling you? Well, no. Several years ago, when my husband Jay and I started in the trust business, Jay said to me, we can't just give people the keys to this F-16 without giving them an owner's manual. My husband does have a sense of humor. So we created several booklets about the trust, including how to operate. Our website has links to those booklets, including sample minutes for your use, as well as a host of legal backup, including Amateur Second on contract trusts. We give you very specific directions on operating your trust, as well as instructions on writing minutes that document your actions. This, of course, will save you time and money. Okay, we've got one more caller here. And let's see. Area code 757.
Hey, Carol, this is Jamal. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing super fantastic. The question I have, I don't have the information how to get to the website.
Say that again, please.
Well, no, I got it. You got a trust from us, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so in the welcome letter, have you had this trust long, or is it new?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I mean, you've had it for a while, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so why don't you email me after the call, and I'll make sure that you're set up. I need to know, did you set up an account with us? I mean, with that, did you have an did you have a password and a username that you used? Have you ever set up an account?
No,
Okay.
I don't have that.
All right. Okay, so what I need you to do is send me an email and security@indicatorinformation.com. And
slow up. I don't know. I know Carol's, but I don't know yours. Slow up. Tell me again one more time. Slow.
Okay. So mine is security.
Okay.
@indicatorinformation.com.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll do the research and get that done for you, and I'll send you the invite code and get you started.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a whole lot.
All right. All right. It may not be done today. I got to get out of the house here shortly, but I'll get it done sometime later today.
That's fine.
All right. That's fine. And be sure and put your phone number on that when you email me so I can get a hold of you.
Okay, I will.
All right.
And I thank you a whole lot.
We'll take care.
All right. All righty.
Bye. All right, Jim, we've got just a little bit of, I guess, housekeeping. People are wondering how long it takes to set up a trust. A typical turnaround time has been less than a week until recently. With all the anticipation of the event happening soon, we have been very busy. We have also hired some new folks to do some word processing for us. So as they're still going through a learning curve, it may take them a little longer. But for the most part, we're aiming at within a week's time. The pre-event cost is $19.95 for the first trust. Additional trusts are $16.95. This is a one-time charge, and since it's not registered with the state, there are no annual fees to the state like there are with corporations and LLCs. We also offer a $300 referral fee for new clients. And Jim, before I get to your closing, we have one more question.
Okay.
Yes, Ralph. Yes, Ralph.
Carol, this is Ralph. Did I hear you correctly that if you want to have a bank account in the name of the trust, you need an EIN number?
Yes.
So
you cannot open a bank account without an EIN. A bank account for an entity without an EIN.
Okay. No matter whether, even though you're not doing any business with it.
No, the bank still needs EIN and your social.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Jim. You want to say something in closing?
Well, that's about it for me, folks. I'm on the West Coast in Salem. I work from 9 to 6 Monday through Friday. I don't take calls after 6 or before 9, and I don't take calls on the weekends anymore. I can't do that. And I'm security@indicatorinformation.com, and the number you can get me at is, I'll give you my 800 number, 866-341-6907. And some people have been calling me, just use the old number that you know about, but 866-341-6907. And that's it for me. Carol?
All right. Thank you, Jim, for your assistance as always. Thanks to all of you for your attention and participation. We may or not be back in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your long weekend, and may it be a blessed one for all of us. Again, my name is Carol Werelius. I live in the Central Time Zone, and I take calls only between 10 and 6. Again, like Jim, I try not to work the weekends. My telephone number is 877-333-5018, and my email is info@indicatorinformation.com. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Like I said, we may or may not be back. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.